Hello, my name is Ira. well, I want to talk about something that it's hard for me to talk about. it's it's about dysphoria, specifically gender dysphoria. Now, I'll admit, words are not very easy for me. It's just, for whatever reason, it's like I can't put them into words. So, gender dysphoria. Put simply, dysphoria sucks. Now, if you're listening to me right now, chances are you've already done a cute little Google search and you already know what dysphoria is. It's fill in the blank, where your gender and your sexuality really don't match, and you hate it. Yeah, well, that doesn't even come close to describing it. My 2 cents? Well, I really don't know how to put dysphoria into words. I really don't. And I've been thinking about this question for years. Years. That's a long time. But I have gotten something. Some way to describe it, some way to put it into words that can be understood. Except they can't. The only way that I can describe dysphoria, the only way that I can say it that has any sense of meaning, is if you know, then no words are necessary. But if you don't know, no words are enough. Maybe it's just because I am really, really bad with words. But I feel like that's the only way that I can describe it. I can't use words like fire and wrath and hate and fury and pain and sadness and misery and anger. Those words don't really mean all that much. It's like I just said. If you know, then no words are necessary. If you know, you already know that pain. If you know, then you already know that suffering and agony and that hatred. But if you don't know, then there is nothing in the world that I can say that will make you know. There's nothing in the world that I could say that could show you what it feels like, that could give you a glimpse into it. It's like that funny little phrase that we always hear about walking a mile in someone else's shoes. I guess my question is, can you walk a mile in someone else's shoes? Can you? Can you go into someone else's life and walk with all that pain and all that joy and all that life that they live? You can't know what someone else is going through unless you've gone through it yourself. I suppose here, this is something that I can partially relate to dysphoria. Me, personally, I have a background in martial arts. I'll admit, I suck, but we don't need to get into that. The point is, in martial arts, you learn pain. For me, my gateway martial art was judo. That's what got me into it. That's what got me hooked. Judo. In judo, you hit the ground time and time and time again. You hit the ground so many times that eventually it stops hurting. Eventually, it's just normal. Eventually, it's okay to hit the ground. Eventually, you know how to hit the ground. Now, that only loosely relates to what I wanted to connect it with. So, because of judo, because of martial arts, I know what pain feels like. Broken bones, dislocations. To make your own fun little list. One time, I dislocated my finger doing a handstand. Super embarrassing. It wasn't in martial arts, but I dislocated my stupid finger doing a stupid handstand. And I did the only thing I really could do. I reset it. Myself. Not all that much fun. It hurt. But I've been through worse. Because of that, I can relate when someone says, "Ow, I just broke my finger." Okay. A finger is pretty small. You have 10 of them. 10 fingers, 10 toes. So how does that relate to dysphoria? Say I go to someone who has never broken a bone in their life, and I say, "Don't break a bone. It sucks. It hurts, and it's just not fun." They'll hear those words, but they won't mean anything. I go to someone who has not experienced dysphoria before. Someone who, one of those lucky clods, doesn't have to look in the mirror and hate themselves. Someone who is fine with that part of themselves, of who they are. There's nothing I can say that's really going to make any sense to them. To you, to your friend, to them. That's one of the issues I have with describing dysphoria. If you know, then no words are necessary. But if you don't know, no words are going to be enough. Dysphoria sucks. It's a pain that you can't just push through. It's a pain that you don't become numb to. It's a pain not in your body. It's a pain that you can't just ignore. You can't just walk past. You can't just bite your lip and keep going through the pain. Dysphoria is a pain that eats you away to your core. Like I said, words are difficult for me. And dysphoria is one of those things that I've never really been able to figure out how to describe it. You hate yourself. You don't hate one aspect of yourself, or maybe you do. But for me, it's not just one aspect. There was a time, luckily it's been years, but I just hated myself, who I was, what I was. So many of those, all those stupid little things that nobody will notice except for you. Let's start at the top. Your hair. I look at someone else and, oh, I don't give a crap what your hair looks like. I look at myself and that is so freaking disgusting and male, and I hate it so freaking much. My eyebrows are too big. My face is too long, too wide, too fat. It looks so much like a freaking man. So what? Why should I care? It's not... There's nothing logical about it. There's no reason for me to hate myself, for me to hate looking like a man, for me to hate being a man, for me to hate being masculine, or whatever. There's no logical reason for me to hate it. Is there a logical reason for, I don't know, for someone to be afraid of the number 13? Is there any logic behind it? Take the top list of most common phobias. Go ahead, look it up right now. Some of them, I'll admit, kind of reasonable. But a phobia is an irrational fear. There's no logic behind it. In dysphoria, there's no reason for why I should hate myself. I do. I freaking do. And it sucks, because I have to live with hating myself every single freaking day of my life. My eyes, my eyebrows, my nose. Every single thing, every single part of me that looks masculine, it sticks out like it's painted red. I hate it. I hate it so badly that if there was some physical thing that I could rip or tear or break or shatter or destroy or do something to, if there was some physical way that I could change it, some way I could just punch hard enough, or maybe if I could run fast enough, or maybe if I could just stop eating or eat much, much more, if there was something I could do to change it, believe me, I would. I would change every part of myself 100 times over if it was an option that was open to me. Dysphoria, it's over so many things that you can't change. Your height, muscle mass, fat distribution, body hair, smell, sense of smell. For me, that's kind of a funny thing because my sense of smell is terrible. Yet somehow it's also a point of dysphoria. Because somewhere I read once that girls are supposed to have a better sense of smell. So many things I hate about myself I wouldn't have if I was a girl. I suppose that's a part of it. Dysphoria sucks. And I really don't know a way to... It just sucks. Dysphoria sucks. Dysphoria freaking sucks. It's not like being overweight where you can just Google how to lose weight and do some things. It's not like... It just sucks. You hate yourself and you can't stop it. I went to, what's it called? It's not therapy, counseling. I went to counseling thinking that it would change, thinking that I could accept myself. That it would be okay. Well, I had a decent number of pretty nice conversations. Okay, I hated those conversations. They're just so awkward. And after a while, after months, it wasn't any better. It wasn't. I didn't love myself all of a sudden. But I could accept myself. That's about when I looked forward with hope for what changes I could make. For me, dysphoria is... There's a lot of emotions with it. But what's helped me is hope. That's the only thing that has really been able to push me forward, to keep me stepping one foot in front of the other, to keep me walking forward. Yes, today sucks. I don't intentionally look into mirrors. It's a choice, believe me. Avoid them as much as I can. Because I know that I don't like what I see. But there are some things I can change. I mentioned hair earlier. At least I think I did. I can grow it out. I can look a little bit more feminine, at least that one way. My eyebrows, I can change a bit. I can shave. I can do different things. Just because you hate yourself doesn't mean you will always have to. Okay. I'm going to ask a question that my counselor asked me the very first day that we met. It's one of the very, very few things I remember from her. And it stood out to me. Imagine for a moment I had a magic wand and I could just wave it over you and your wish could come true. What would you change? Would you change your face? Would you change your height? Would you change... would you make yourself smaller, skinnier, larger, fatter, more muscular, longer hair, shorter hair, fuller lips? If I could wave a magic wand over you and change that, well, not everything can be changed, but all the things that can, focus on those. Do you hate your hair? Okay. So make it different. Make it feminine. Grow it out. Do you hate not being able to wear makeup? So why don't you? Do you hate not being able to wear pretty clothes or feel pretty? Okay. So why don't you? Find those things that you hate and change them. Change them. Really. Dysphoria sucks. It sucks much more than I know how to put into words. For those that know, no words are necessary. But for those that don't know, no words are ever going to be enough. Just think about that. Bye.